When I was 11 years old, my parents betrayed me in the worst way possible. What did they do, Vulgrin, you ask? Well, you see, on my 11th birthday, alongside the usual presents such as the Rogue Starter Kit and the Do-It-Yourself BM Hunter Pack, I received a letter telling me that I had been selected to go to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I'm not sure why I got my hopes up over this. Guess I was a pretty weird kid. Hell, I still am. But when I found out that this was a lie, and that I wasn't going to become a wizard, I was seriously pissed off. But fast forward 2 years, and I'd started playing a game that you might have heard of called World of Warcraft, and I realised that it is in fact possible to become a magician. A master sorcerer wielding the powers of pyromancy, cryomancy, and the immense force of purple stuff. And so I ask you, do you want to blast purple rain while spamming arcane missiles at your enemies? It's possible. Turn unsuspecting humanoids into sheep for your depraved sexual purposes?
Bro, what?
Dress like the love child of the Ghost Rider and Darth Sidious? Well, if so, let me take you on a journey as we examine the archetypal wizard class in World of Warcraft and find out everything, not really, that you need to know before playing one. This is the secret 8th installment, that story that you never got to hear, Harry Potter and the consistently overpowered WoW class, aka so you want to play a mage in World of Warcraft. Now before we get into this, I think it's important to say that once upon a time, I actually tried to main a fire mage, and if you look hard enough, there's a video out there somewhere on YouTube of me playing one. Now it's actually just a compilation of me casting Pyroblast with Disturbed playing in the background, which is fucking hilarious to be honest, but at least you know I'm qualified to talk about this class, right? Now traditionally when I think of WoW classes, they fall into clear categories. You've got your friendly boys, those dudes you want to have around in a BG or raid. These guys will typically buff you without asking, share gear they don't need, and they're generally just cool to have around. You've also got your tough guys, the strong, silent types who will crack on and get the job done, and will typically only shout up to tell you you're doing something wrong, which you probably are. And then you've got these two. 16 years of ridiculous damage, coupled with a complete disinterest in anything other than insane damage output, has created a monster in these two classes. Teamwork? Who cares about that? Mechanics? What are you, a nerd? These boys live only for the deeps, and when I look back over the history of WoW, I have to say that in this area, the mage is king. You may have heard of the term glass cannon, and this has been used to describe mages in the past, but it's actually quite inaccurate, because the only cannons around here are magical, and they're poking out of the fucking gun holes of a flying battleship crewed by a mage, screaming, "Look at me, I am the captain now," at every outlaw rogue in sight. And it's just that simple. Mages have been incredibly powerful consistently since the beginning of WoW, with few exceptions. Sure, in vanilla you had to sit on your ass half the time before you could blow your load, but you were one of the few classes in game which actually got to play 2 specs at a high level, rather than say being a warlock, who rolled their class in order to live out the fantasy of becoming an evil, unstoppable sorcerer, only to spend their days working as a part-time taxi man, or in charge of keeping up Curse of Elements. Ooh, fun. Oh, we can conjure demons, they might say, but that doesn't really compare to being able to burn somebody with a pyroblast hotter than the inside of a fucking Greg's chicken pasty, does it? Maybe at one time mages actually were glass cannons, capable of putting out that insane damage, but lacking in utility and survivability if closed down. But that time, if it ever did exist, has passed. The mage's toolkit is nothing short of retarded, to be honest. Greater invisibility, time warp, ring of frost. Don't even get me started on the meme that is ice block. Let's just say, if you are going to use this in PvP, think about what you're doing first, or you'll end up featured on orct.com. Now with that lovely mirror image in your mind, let's talk about those 3 specializations that you can explore if you decide that the mage is the class for you. Firstly, you've got the fire mage spec. Now some men just want to watch the world burn, and in this case that is literally what you want. You can take all that utility I talked about before and flush it down the fucking toilet, and while you're at it, if you could please get rid of that bullshit that is the Nightface seed pod, I'd be much obliged. You could alternatively choose to play a Frost Mage and sign yourself up for a life of only wearing blue transmog sets, casting blue spells, and spamming a macro which quotes Mr. Freeze whenever you let off a Frost Orb. I mean, is there any other kind of Frost Mage? And then there's Arcane. What can be said about the Arcane Mage that hasn't already been said about the Falcon 9 rocket, for example? It looks weird, it doesn't make sense, but we'd all be happy to see it disappear into deep space. Now I'm not going to say that, because I know that there's some nutcases out there who will be watching these videos and leaving comments along the lines of haha, Fulgrim WoW Arcane Mage series when lol, and I'm such a glutton for punishment that I'd probably do it. But even if I was a Master Arcane Finger Blaster, there still isn't a spell out there that lets you conjure up your own cans of monster, and until that update goes live, I instead must rely upon the generous, slightly insane support of my Patreon subscribers. If you're interested in checking out the page, there'll be a link in the comments below. How to summarize the mage in WoW then? Very simple. I consider this class to be the most stable and consistently powerful in the history of the game. If you like casting spells and want to do more damage than Phil Swift with a berserking buff, then Mage is the class for you. You kick ass in pretty much every scenario and are a force to be reckoned with. Just know that if I get turned into a sheep one more time, I'm going to take my own purple-headed staff and ram it so far up your arse that the tip will tickle your Khadgar's whiskers. And there we have it guys, the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, it's been really fun making another class video. If you enjoyed this and haven't seen the others, check out the rest of the class-themed series in this playlist. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and click the bell so you get notifications. Have an awesome day, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. Bye bye.